We're ready to listen to what you have to say, dear Ruth.
So I just have a few words.
This is Ruth.
For the beautiful couple.
Everybody know Ruth?
Yay!
Hello.
Yeah.
Great, Ruth. That was great. That was great. That was so great. That was great.
Started at the house, and you know, maybe there was a little trepidation about having to leave the house and go somewhere and walk, and what might the weather be, and all these things. And but you know, they had a vision, and so we trusted in their vision. And I think everyone feels very uplifted just by the beautiful walk and the music and the feeling of togetherness, you know. And I was I got a late start, and I was kind of behind the whole group, but I didn't feel separate from the group. I felt like I was just fine. Like, it's when a couple loves each other, then everyone in their presence just feels fine.
Correct.
So we all thank you for that. So I thought that since I knew beforehand that we were going to take this walk, and Val was very excited about our doing that it made me think about the symbolism of starting out at the house, the place that's stable, that's comfortable, that's where they live, their shelter, their dwelling, their abode, their home. And then I know they have this pathway that goes to the river, and they like to take this walk from their house to the river, and they wanted to share that with us, and to come to the river that's not so stable like the house, and that it's fluid, and it has movement, and that there was something about those two qualities, the stillness and the stability of the house, and the movement and the change and the fluidity of the river, that would make us all feel that this marriage is very blessed by this perfect combination of stillness and movement between the house and the river. All of us, even though many of us forget, spent our first time in the water of our mother's womb. There's all that talk about when the water is going to break, and having the baby in the water is good because the baby was coming out of the water, and so then it'll be easy for the baby to just go from water to water. And so I think perhaps since that was where we originated, in the water, that when we walk to the water, or if we bathe in water, or if we see water, we do feel a little bit like we're returning, or recovering, or remembering, or going a bit backwards, since so much of our life is about moving forwards. And when we go backwards, there's a place inside of each and every one of us that's innocent and perfect. And sometimes it takes going backwards to find that. And then in the house, in wherever it is that we live, whether it's a fancy house or a simple house, or in the big city house, or in the little countryside house, that all the houses that we live in give us a chance to create an atmosphere that's wonderful. We're given that opportunity within our homes to create a space where we can really shine and where we can really be the best possible human being that we can be. We need a space, like a house, to be able to try and be as best as we can be. So when we walk to or into the house, our potential is in that house. The river is always moving. We can't stop it. And life is like that, you know. Time is moving, and we can't stop it. And it teaches us that we mustn't cling to things, because things are temporary and they're transient and they're always moving. And when we really realize how temporary things are, it should teach us never to waste even a minute. And especially not to waste time being mean or being petty, because that time is not stopping. And so we don't want to waste it. And I think that a husband and wife can really help each other when they sink into those lower levels to get out of it, you know? The husband and wife should do that for each other. Instead of get down in there with them, you lift each other up. And I know that you're both never ever petty, so but you can help each other with that. Like we experienced today, the river is sometimes very turbulent, very stormy and very tossy and maybe a bit frightening. And now it's like it's so serene, just from what it was 3 hours ago. And you know, life is like that. It's like up and down, and there's so much highs and so much lows, and happy times and painful times, and rewarding times and disappointing times, all those things. Sometimes when you get married, maybe more so when the couple is very young, they think that, oh, now that I'm married, the ups and downs aren't going to come, you know. But of course, you know, it's not like that. All the problems that you have before you're married, you still have, you know, when you're married. But the thing is that there's a place inside of everyone where you can kind of step back, and we could call it metaphorically like the house. And you step into that place and you watch the ups and downs without becoming entangled. And that is that place of wisdom and that place of spirituality that you both are so firmly rooted in. And you can also help each other to stay firmly rooted in that place of spirituality and place of wisdom, where you're unentangled from the whirling of the world which is meant to whirl. The river and the house are vulnerable. You can't mistreat the river, and you can't mistreat the house. And they serve as good reminders for marriage. Marriage is also vulnerable, and marriage needs to be looked after, and you need to keep up with each other and not be so casual about to be married. It has to have some sense that it's never to be taken for granted, and that it needs to be cared for and looked after. It can't be beat up on, too much, like the house or like the river. Neither the house nor the river belong to us. We don't own our houses, and we don't own the river, and we don't own anything. You don't own, I don't own my husband, and we don't own each other, and we don't even own our bodies. When you die, you can't say, well, I own this, right? So everything that we have, our house, our friends, our loved ones, nature, everything is a gift. Everything is a blessing. Everything is on loan. Always feel that immense gratitude for everything what you have. In the Indian Vedic tradition, there are these prayers. Please help me never think things are mine. Please help me from ever feeling entitled to anything. Just always keep in mind, everything is a blessing. Everything is a gift. And all the trouble starts from, but this is mine, that possessiveness. So in marriage, you can let go of that. You can let go of that. The river moves to the ocean. The river moves to that which is larger than itself. So like that, the married couple should feel that they are moving to something larger. And so your life will have this current or this sense of direction. So you feel it, like you're moving in a good direction. Maybe you don't have a word for it. Maybe if someone says, well, what do you mean you're moving in a good direction? Where are you going? Maybe you can't say, oh, well, this is where I'm going. You don't need to have a word for it, but marriage gives you this feeling that you're going in a good direction. You're on the right road. You'll have that feeling. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I'm everywhere. And the student says, well, could you be more specific? Like, it's hard. I want to be with you. Where should I look? And the Lord is like, just look everywhere. And the student is like, I need something more specific. So the Lord says, well, I'm the same in everyone. That which is the same in you as in everyone, look for me there. But how do we find what is the same in ourself and the other? Love. Love is how we see ourselves in the other. Love is that link. So love can come at any time. Sometimes when you least expect it. It can come to a stranger. It can come for a leaf. All of a sudden you're just overwhelmed, and love is free and always moving and isn't owned. and can happen at any time. But when you get to have it in this arena, it can really help you find the Lord. It's a most beautiful blessing, that marriage, husband, wife. But what did my guru say? It is good method. It is good method. That's what he said. It is good method.
Correct
It is
method.
good method. You take it. You take it. Each year, energy increasing. Each year, energy increasing. You take it, no problem. That's what he would say. He was always trying to get everyone to marry. He'd rearrange the whole room sometimes if he thought this one and that one. He, was always telling people to get married. So, okay, a few just like helpful things maybe, because I think married people need all the help that they can get. Do helpful things, okay? Always communicate with each other. If there's anything bothering you, don't keep it inside. Don't think the other one should be able to read your mind. Communicate.
We're getting like amens. Amen.
Talk to each other. Talk to each other. Don't stop talking to each other. When you go for walks, talk to each other. When you're away, call each other on the phone. Talk to each other. Once in a while, stay up late and just talking to each other. And then the other one says, but I got to go to work tomorrow morning. And then the other one says, yeah, but let me just tell you. And just talk to each other. Like, keep that, keep your conversation alive. And be engaged in each other through this vach, speech. And don't gossip with each other. Don't think, oh, but well, we're married, so we can just keep it between the two of us. Don't diminish your speech. Okay. Trust each other. Trust each other. And if you trust each other, you'll become trustworthy, even more trustworthy, just by the other person instilling their trust in you. It's always like that. You trust me, and so I'm trustworthy. That's how it is. Trust each other, and the other one will be trustworthy. Walk side by side. Don't always be like 15 feet in front of the other one, and the other one like trying to rush. You know, wait for each other, and find a good rhythm. Do things for each other without expecting anything. Keep it a marriage and not a business. Like, oh, well, I did this, and so leave that off. Touch each other. Touch each other. You know, like, be affectionate with each other. Affection is, I mean, if God is not in affection, I don't know where God is so powerful through just affection. You know, touch each other and kiss each other and explore what it is to really be allowed to touch somebody. And keep the house sacred. You know, think of the house. Bow down to your house and keep it clean, and like the way the house looks so beautiful. Like you could just see, like they know we're all coming, and they want the house to welcome us, and it does. It speaks so well of you, the house. Let it always be light and happy. And if people were to come into your house when you weren't there, they'd want to know, what is in this house? I feel so wonderful. The energy is just so good. And that anybody who, like we have friends, when they come to visit us in our house, the mother is so relaxed, and the daughter-in-law says she's always uptight, but in our house she puts her feet up. Let your house be a place where people can put their feet up. Be thankful for the food you eat, because married people, they tend to eat together, you know, or they share the kitchen and everything. Food is like a thing, right? So, you know, don't be wasteful. Don't let food go bad. Keep the fridge clean. Keep it nice. Don't let food rot in your refrigerator. It will affect your marriage. It will. It will. And don't keep everything for yourself. Share, and never worry about sharing. And then if you can really learn every day how to treat each other even better than you did the day before, then all of your relationships will improve. Every single one of them. And then you'll know why you have this relationship. Because this relationship is not the end. This is the beginning. And through learning how to really love each other, you should learn how to love anyone who's in your presence. So, did you have some things you wanted to say?
How can you add to that? That's great.
I just want to start by saying that clearly you can understand why Ruth is my teacher. Besides being my dear friend, why she's my teacher. Well, Stephen, you have such a sunny disposition.
You know, it's. I'm so glad we're already married. I'm so glad. We got married here, right here, 6 months ago. Exactly 6 months ago. 12, 22, 11. And so we've been married for 6 months. And everything that you have said, I needed to hear so badly. Because I would say last night was probably the most difficult night of our marriage.
Yeah.
The last night, you know, before all of this. So imagine feeling like, oh my God, at least we're already married. Because otherwise it'd be like, are we, you know, what are we doing? Are we doing like the right thing? I mean, it was that bad. But what have we been doing? What have we been doing? We've been fixing the house up for weeks and weeks and weeks. Weeks! You know, probably for 6 months. We got married and then we said, we'll have a party in 6 months. So it started like 6 months ago. You know, and so it's like all these projects, you know, and so it's representing like, okay, so this is what we have to do. So when you have a party though, the interesting, like, when you have a party, you need to paint all the trim, it turns out. Like all the trim, and then you paint, you have to sand it, because if you're going to paint it, you have to paint it right. Because there's a way to paint things correctly. And one of the things like, you really are a great painter. You know, you really are. You're like, and nobody, what is this? Because you really take the time to prepare things, you know, like you do it right. I, on the other hand, you know, am completely like just all over the place and slap the paint on there and the paint peels off. But you know, it's like, so I'm so lucky to have you as my partner because, you know, all the things that, you know, I'm just like not paying attention to. You know, that's what you bring to my life. You know, you're so courageous. You're way more. I mean, you're so courageous. You know, and you have such determination, and you're so willing. You have such willingness to kind of go along with a character like me, of all people. I can't believe it. You know, like what was she thinking? You know, like she married me. It's like wow. So I'm really grateful. I'm glad. Maybe you weren't. Last night she was saying, I don't know what I was thinking. That's what she said. So I don't know. Well, you know, what was I thinking? I said, I don't know. What were you?
Stephen,
my rabbi.
Stephen had asked me to say a few words on his behalf. You were right. Stephen is sunny. But what Stephen told me about you is that when you came into his life, you brought a lot of love. You brought wholeness to him. You created opportunity for him in a way that he hasn't experienced in a long time. And he's very hopeful that together, you two will live a wonderful, happy, fruitful life. Don't say anything else, Stephen.
Thank you.
When do we eat?
Next.
We'll go home and eat.
Wait.
What? Oh, you want me to say something?
I got the axe though.
Well, yes, I would say that you and I are opposites in so many ways, and sometimes that's heavenly, and sometimes that's really challenging. And I think that a relationship is a path. I think that we all have the opportunity to become better and deeper and richer. And I think what I really value so much about you is that you really make every day an attempt to make it the best possible day that you could have. And that's a very beautiful quality. I'm grateful.
She loves me. I love you.
So I had to close it.
Okay, good.
So, Kimberly, can you hold that? So, because, see, there was a time where you wanted to be with Steve, but you couldn't. And you were so unhappy. And all of your girlfriends were like, you know, Val, you know, like, there are so many other men, you know, that please, you know, like, forget about Steve, you know, and you were like, but I can't. And we were like, but why can't you? And I just wanted to say that now I know why he couldn't. Oh, I really feel so happy about your union, and I believe in you as a partnership wholeheartedly. I really